All right. Just before we went on that break, you heard me discussing with Coyote on the question of fraud in Osun State. Now we continue that discussion as the Chief Press Secretary of Osun State Governor Rashid Olawale joins us in the studio. Rashid, glad to have you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Join me in the studio. You listened to Coyote, but let me just add this before you respond to what Coyote said. A consulting firm, T-Bot, says 8,452 workers and 5,831 pensioners failed to present themselves for physical and biometric verification. Can you explain that in addition to responding to what we listened to Coyote say?
Thank you for having me. For you to get it properly clear, I think we need to give a small background under a few seconds. The governor actually engaged T-Bot. So if the governor has anything to hide, ordinarily he will not do that. And secondly, the payroll that was audited was that of the previous administration, that's Oyetola's administration. In other words, it's not the payroll of Governor Ademola.
That is APC's.
APC government. That's the payroll
PDP
that was
government.
audited was that of APC administration under former Governor Oyetola. That is one. Now, if there is any 30 billion fraud, so-called uncovered by T-Bot, that means these were the fraud perpetrated under former Governor Oyetola, not under Governor Ademola Adeleke. In other words, if there is payroll fraud, as the APC and the T-Bot people were mouthing, then that is the payroll fraud committed under former Governor Oyetola. In other words, the APC people that assembled at Osogbo yesterday, it's like they don't have strategy or they are uneducated about the issue. In other words, they are accusing their own boss of yearly 13 billion payroll scam, which will amount to 52 billion payroll scam under former Governor Oyetola. In other words, the old Olawale is not about Governor Ademola Adeleke. Governor Ademola Adeleke was eager to get rid of any likely scam within the payroll. And that was why he engaged through due process the T-Bot. Now, when T-Bot came on board, it was a tug of war. For almost a year, the state was thrown upside down. Now, the governor insisted the firm must complete their assignment. Then the report must be implemented. Almost everybody shouted, there are errors in the governor said, no, I need to catch the scam, the fraudsters. Now, this was on. Suddenly, people now discovered that we need to call people to talk to the governor. And that's why at a point, people have to call the brother of the governor. People that call the brother, they are the people that are about to be declared ghost workers. Legitimate workers, their name were already listed as ghost. So they called the brother, say, please save our neck. They were about to be declared ghost worker by this T-Bot. Then the governor, the brother now called the governor. My brother, come. I heard so. Please, why don't you take a second look at this report? Everywhere, there's nothing illegal in advising your brother when he's in government because you don't want him to make mistake. This happens all over the world. So Governor Diji has not done anything wrong by advising. Secondly, the governor in his bid to convince the brother say, no, they are a fraudster, let's find them. The governor said, let me bring the consultant to you. So the governor brought the consultant to Dr. Diji. The meeting was not meant for presentation of report. The government already has the report. So they came, they talk, and 3 things happened at that meeting, which Nigerians must know. The first thing that happened was that they mentioned the name of the vice chancellor of Osun as a ghost worker. Then 255 other
The firm mentioned
the vice chancellor
of
Osun as a ghost worker. Then 255 other workers. It was at that point the governor said, no, Adeboye cannot be a ghost worker. He is my man. Second thing that happened at that meeting was that the payroll system that was developed, the governor now discovered, the technical team of the company admitted that the payroll is not ready for deployment. It has never been tested. So on those 2 points, the governor now discovered that, no, there's something wrong with this report. And the brother now quickly advised, why don't people put it together, set up a review committee to look into all these loopholes. The consultant agreed. Everybody agreed. Because on the committee will be 2 reps of that company. Then labor leaders and others. Now, I'll quickly round up. Now, you know what now happened? Because the consultant has evil intention, she secretly recorded the family. And the intention was to blackmail. And then she later released the video of the meeting to national news television. No, lastly, before I go further, so that I won't take your time, the next is that a review committee was set up. The company boycotted. The review committee came up with a report. They discovered that instead of 15,000 ghost workers she mentioned, it was less than 500 that were ghost workers. Then on the payroll system, they discovered that no, there is a World Bank payroll system that was originally developed. Since the one by the consultant was not ready, why can't we go back to the World Bank own? The governor give order that, okay, suspend the implementation of the report, one. Two, go back to the World Bank payroll. Then clean up the payroll system. And that was done early 2024. So all the stories about scam, and all, they were just mere blackmail. The woman was after the 2 billion she hoped to collect.
All right, let me comment a little bit there. Was that why, because the Osun government is insisting, just like you're insisting, that there's no fraud. Instead, you're accusing the firm of professional misconduct. You're saying the figures are exaggerated for them to make more money. Is that why the government is doing that? But the firm, on its part, is alleging that there were discoveries of cases of extreme payroll manipulation, and because of that, is threatening to bring in EFCC and ICPC on the matter for
Thank you very much.
On its integrity.
Thank you very much. Already, Mr. Governor has written the EFCC and the ICPC, asking them to come and investigate the report, one, then to come and also check the counter report. That's the review committee report. If the governor has anything to hide, he will not. The letter is everywhere in the newspaper, on social media. The governor has done that. The governor is not scared of anything because he has nothing to. In fact, the FCC will be coming to investigate Oyetola and his administration, because the payroll thing we are talking about is not that of Governor Adeleke. It's that of the Oyetola administration. So what the woman is saying, she's out on blackmail. That's why she recorded Dr. DG private meeting and she put it on national television. That is one. Two, she's focused on collecting the almost 2 billion naira, because the contract was tied to the number of ghost workers you can discover. Now, in her own case, she targeted 15,000, which will give her almost 2 billion naira. Now, the state cannot pay that. We cannot be part of fraud.
What did Deji say in the recorded message? Recorded.
It's just a meeting where...
Just a meeting?
Just a meeting. And that meeting, she portrayed the meeting to be like a report presentation. It was not so.
Let me take you up on these two issues. You can take them alongside two of them. Stakeholders are now calling for transparency and independent probe. Would you allow that? That's one. Two, this controversy continues to cast doubt on your claim of reducing the monthly wage bill by 1 billion naira.
Now, let me quickly talk about the first one. The governor has already taken step on transparency. And that's why the governor took the unusual step of writing the anti-corruption agencies to say, come and investigate. That's an external investigation. It's not in-house. So we should give kudos to the governor for doing that. That is one. Two, on the issue of reducing payroll thing, how come Governor Oyetola's administration refused to implement the payroll developed with support of the World Bank? They call it SFIMC or something like that. Now, that thing was already on ground. Governor Adeleke, after suspending implementation of this report, ordered immediate usage of that World Bank. And that's what we've been using. That has cleaned up the payroll system. We don't, because other states are using
the World Bank he ordered is for Adeleke's government.
No, it's for most state government. So the World Bank supports you to develop it. And it's not just for Osun. So it was developed before we came on board. But they didn't use it.
You know what I'm asking that? Because you said what T-Bot did was for Oyetola.
No, you see T-Bot.
So this World Bank now, is it concentrating on Governor Adeleke?
Okay, let me explain it. There are two assignments T-Bot did. The first one is staff auditing. The second one is the payroll system. The staff auditing was the one we said was inflated to almost 15,000, which was trashed out by the review committee. The second one was the payroll. the payroll she developed was never tested. And in fact, our own technical people confirmed that it's not ready for deployment.
Rashid,
let me read it up.
Okay.
So since the software from her was not ready, the next thing is for the governor to fall back on the World Bank system, which was already developed and tested. And that is what we are using. It has cleaned up the system.
I'm just trying to wonder, is it not because of because I mean she's accusing the government of Governor Adeleke of not wanting to implement what they found out, with their own system, that's why they are now, impinging on their integrity. So I'm trying to ask you, is it not because that you didn't want to
that's what I want to answer.
that you're
if you are a governor,
with,
if you are a governor, can you implement a report that declare your vice chancellor as a ghost worker?
Your vice chancellor can be a ghost worker.
It can be a ghost worker. Now, that declare former governor Ilola as a ghost pensioner. You can't implement in all good conscience. Then, if you implement a report that simply tag people as ghost workers, then you sack people. Simply for nothing.
So what you're saying is that the
report is not implementable. And again, there was a lifeline that was given to her. They set up a review committee. She boycotted. If she had come, she will check through. Okay, how come the vice chancellor of the university was declared?
Okay, she didn't want to come for
She didn't come.
According to you.
No, according to it's there. It's in public domain. Now, the issue is this. She was fixated on getting the 15,000 for the 2 billion because our commission payment was based on the number of ghost workers you can discover. And our governor is a transparent man. But let me also mention something. She has been labeling the chief of staff, Alhaji Kazim, as the evil. As Alhaji Kazim is a man of God. The man say, "Oh, don't let us support fraud in Osun." That is Kazim's only sin. And Governor Adeleke, the Adeleke family, they are for good of Osun State. People know. Kayode that came on board. Let me quickly address this matter. Kayode, the entire PDP structure in Osun, just send a team. People are almost stoning them as at now. Because what they are calling for, just this morning, the vice chancellor and professors of University of Osun State University, they just addressed the press. In fact, they are taking Salitibo to court for declaring them ghost workers. Okay, so the whole reality is that as at today, the APC is calling for the probe of their own leader, Oyetola. And they are alleging Oyetola of 52 billion.
Rashid, this is quite interesting. I'm sure we have not had the last of this.
Yes.
So it's like it's developing.
And of course, the last one, which will interest you. If you have a governor, if you have a governor that is delivering, that is transparent like Governor Ademola Adeleke, and that is so popular, extremely popular.
That's according to you.
Yes, according to me and public opinion models. The APC is in trouble in Osun. Highly unpopular. People are almost stoning them. And they know Governor Adeleke is going to win second term. Right. So they are throwing everything at him.
We'll leave it there and see what comes during the election. Rashid Olawale is the Chief Press Secretary to Osun State Governor. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.